All right, everyone. Daryl Bates from Bad Mojo Media Studios today. So we've got some great characters in the studio, and I think this is going to be an extremely enjoyable podcast. We have the lovely Miss Jill behind the camera, of course, from Just Jill's Art. She's going to have her mug on this side too, which will certainly make the decor look better. To the right of me, we have Brandon Tucker, and to the right of him, we have Tim Tucker, the old man.
I resemble that remark.
So we have just a great show today. We're going to have a couple other people on later, as I said earlier in my intro. And so the story behind these cats here beside me, besides the fact they're family to us, is also an amazing fact is that they own Medieval Concrete here in Las Vegas. And they're extremely talented at what they do. We met a couple years ago, and they started buying supplies from me, and before long we suddenly became friends on the same job site. So today I just wanted to introduce both of these guys, and I know that they're going to be a recurring part of our show. Part of the problem, part of the show. And we could just probably gab for hours, but we need to really get to the point of what we're all doing here today, and that's really pushing the platform of Artisans further and further. So that being said, guys, let's hear your story. Let's hear about what you do and who you are, and just dazzle us with brilliance, man.
Well, it all started way back when my mom and dad were horny, and 9 months later, I was here. So,
and it's been that way ever since.
It's been that way ever since. So. But I was the youngest person to ever have a bungee jump, because when I was born, I was still attached to the umbilical cord when the doctor dropped me. So.
Now I understand. That clarifies a whole lot of shit in my mind.
I might have hit my head on it. But hey,
you think?
I bounced right back up.
Yeah, right. Literally. So you guys are into a lot of amazing stuff here in Las Vegas. I know that you commercially do a lot of parking lots and clean and whatnot, and pressure washing.
Yeah.
But let's hear about the other side of the coin when you got Medieval Concrete really into more advanced flooring and some of the cool things that you guys do.
Well, yeah, thanks to you on that. We've been doing a lot of high-end designer floors, epoxy floors, and
Yeah.
really good stuff. I'll share some of my stuff here soon.
Cool.
Show some pictures. But
Cool. I'll put some links on this on the video version as well as at the end, where they can find you on Facebook or YouTube or your webpage or whatever. That way anyone locally or even from abroad. He likes broads. I didn't say that. We'll delete that out later. But
I like broad.
Yeah, right. The cool thing to me though, that I've said this about a lot of other family members that I see in businesses, is that father and son. There's something special to me in that. I don't know why, but Brandon, when he first started working with us, was rather quiet. The biggest of the bunch. It just took a while that I understand who you are now and get to know you.
Yeah.
And you're not quiet at all.
No.
Just the opposite usually.
No, we actually opened up a freaking worm there.
Yeah, right?
Now you won't shut up. So.
Well, it's awesome because he's kind of like our comic relief and bodyguard at the same time.
Yeah. That's good.
You know, we can dress him up nice and
A lot of people like us on the jobs because we usually insult each other.
Oh yeah,
Back and forth.
it's wonderful banter.
It's comedy. So we don't go on to job sites just to make money. I mean, we're out there having fun, and our customers love us. We'll make them laugh throughout the whole process.
Except for that
great.
one time in Lake Las Vegas where they thought we were really dumb because we're over here shocking each other.
Yeah, we're a cattle prodder or what?
Yeah, we had 240 outlets, and we're chasing each other around the job site, just shocking each other.
It was trying to figure out why the 240 or the plugs weren't working. I touched myself, and it zapped me, and I was like, oh.
They're like, whoa!
It works.
Wait, let me see that.
And we're just running back. We're running back and forth in this garage, and the family comes around the corner.
We look like a bunch of Keystone Cops. It was,
We should have a reality show. You know those funny cop spoof reality shows? You know they're not.
And these ritzy people are just staring at us like, these guys are idiots.
Right. Who in the heck did we just hire? What did we just do here? So, and I see also too some of the other amazing things that you guys do. I know that you've introduced me to a lot of professionals in this community, and that's awesome. from metal builders and designers and they make gates and security
Yeah.
stuff to another guy that you were telling me about that makes beds and whatnot for the homeless,
Yes.
needy children. I mean, there's so many good causes in this city and others.
Sleep in Heavenly Peace. They're
Sleep
a
in Heavenly
nonprofit
Peace.
organization. They're out of Crum.
That is awesome.
Yeah.
That is awesome. I know that.
No kid goes without a bed.
Yep, and that's the way it should be, really.
Yes.
So, how about him? Do you ever have one?
He slept under a rock.
I see.
No, it wasn't a rock, it was a cellar.
Oh, I see.
Kept it nice and dark and cold.
But not a wine cellar.
Right. No wine cellar. I was a sofa dweller.
Well, he's a little bit of a whiner. But
Oh, yeah, well, that's a whole different thing. But it is cool to see you two work together and grow together. As I've seen you get, a nice place here in Vegas and more equipment, more tooling and grinders and trailers and, it makes me very proud to see you guys do well.
yeah, we're growing. We're Las Vegas natives. I was born and raised here. He was born and raised here. We're just keeping it going and trying to build up. It's going. So
It's funny when you tell me stories about Vegas, and I'm relatively new here, only been here less than 4 years. And I remember you when you were a kid, you were telling me when you were a kid, at least. I didn't know you when you were a kid. But it warped my whole perception of reality. But no, you were saying that how you used to be out of town, so to speak, and then the city can just slowly consume you as it started to grow, and then suddenly you were no longer out of town. You were, and I wondered what that might look like. I seen a map the other day that somebody put on Facebook, a friend of mine, where it showed the growth like in a time lapse video from like 82 or 3 or something. All the way up to present time, and it was awesome to see that map just grow all the way around the mountains and stuff as Las Vegas expanded in the last 25 or 30 years. So, and we're in a boom right now too. I mean, make no mistake, right now I believe most America was in a boom, and we can certainly see that here. Just about every kind of industry is growing. I mean, food trucks everywhere, which is a good sign. If there's food trucks everywhere, there's hungry people working.
yeah, for sure.
So that's a good barometer as to your local economy. So Brandon, he likes that a lot too, I bet. Food trucks. Actually, that'd be something we should delve into.
I was thinking of that. When you were speaking of that, I was getting ideas already. So.
Yeah, right.
And I kind of wanted to do this for a while. So.
Well, that's awesome. When I see we have a festival here, it's called First Friday.
Yeah.
And one of the reasons Jill and I go, of course, is because of the art. And hopefully we'll have ourselves set up and maybe we can all do something special at that event. But I see one of the things that I appreciate a lot too is the food trucks. They have every kind of food truck and ice cream and yum yum and even cold pressed and healthy stuff, and it's awesome to see. So we're real excited about that.
Nothing wrong with food.
No. So I see our shop mascot, we had him on last week's episode, Mufasa. He's over there being a goofball. I was doing some recording last night, and I'll put this on the other part of the podcast. I was by myself. I told you I was being kind of goofy because it's fun when you have all these microphones and nobody's here. What can I record? Hey, this is Harry Carey. Anyway, but I kept hearing all this racket. It sounded like somebody was on the roof, which everything's amplified in your microphones, obviously. And I'm like, what in the ever living hell is all that noise? And all of a sudden I just seen a flash go like, whoo, and then back again. And here it's my cat, and he's throwing this mouse up in the air about 12 feet, this little fake mouse. And he chased it all over hell and jumped up on everything. And I'm thinking, I used to think when I left go home at night that he was probably bored and lonely. I don't think so. I think he has a ball out here.
Yeah,
I think he gets plenty
he parties when nobody's around.
Yeah,
so.
right.
You should get a red suit for him for Christmas and call him Santa Claus.
Santa Claus. That's actually pretty insightful. I like it. We should do. You see those ones where it hangs around his neck and it looks like they're walking?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Have a little sword or something.
Yeah, a little medieval.
Right? Yeah, right.
Excalibur sword.
Yeah. Hey, you know what? I got a couple people that are actually have approached me about making some custom guitars. One of them would be a featured Excalibur guitar.
Nice.
And a friend of mine, Jason Buchanan, who will be on the show later today, and I'll edit that in because I really want him to be a part of this. But he's also making me a couple jingles too with Excalibur, as well as another friend of mine that was on the show last week, named Joe Carter. So real excited to see some of the things that are unfolding in front of us. Let's also talk about one more thing that's on my mind, and that's your jiu-jitsu. And the reason I want to talk about this is, for one, I think it's an amazing skill set. As a kid growing up watching all the Bruce Lee and all the fighters and stuff, I'd often dreamed about it, and sadly never pursued it, never did anything with it. But I see that you guys do, and you also know some pretty cool people within that group, and it seems to me like a pretty big family.
Yeah.
So give us a little background about where you trained and what you do.
We're currently studying under Mika, who is a Gracie Himatai.
So Gracie,
Yeah.
is a gym.
Yeah,
Gracie.
it's a Gracie gym.
We're Gracie affiliated. Those are the guys that are like high on the charts of
Yeah.
like
Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu.
badass.
Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu.
Yeah.
Yeah, see, that is pretty badass. I mean, if you look back over the years of the fighters, and even MMA people have moved up, a lot of the
Oh, yeah.
best ones are the Jiu-Jitsu fighters.
Yes. You got to be well versed
Brazilian.
now.
Yeah.
Jiu-Jitsu, kickboxing, all that.
It's kind of-
judo.
yeah.
It's all tied in. So
What am I
it's,
doing?
it's MMA. So
Yeah. So give me some background. How far are you guys? Who you train? What you do?
Well, we're both purple belts. So basically, we're like right in the middle.
Okay.
I'm one belt higher than him in judo.
Oh.
oh yeah, you got to say that.
I had to say that. I had to show more dominance.
It's their most personal feelings.
He might be a higher belt, but I'm more knowledgeable.
Well, if I drop you on your head, you're not going to be that very knowledgeable anymore.
This belt might be
Touche.
bigger.
His belt's the equator. So.
Your forehead's bright in the future.
And your teeth are so yellow you spit butter.
Your
This
belly
is
button's ahead of
family
you
hour.
by
This
your
is how
mid.
they love one another. This is.
But it's a really good way to humble yourself out, because I remember the first time I went into jiu-jitsu was when I was like getting bullied in school, and I only wanted to go in there just so that way I could kick their ass.
Right.
But then after learning and after hearing the philosophies behind everything, I'm just kind of like, eh.
Yeah, bullying's no more. You don't even have to touch anyone anymore because you can just look at them and just laugh at them.
Right.
Yeah.
How stupid they
Right.
are.
You know you can protect yourself, and
Yeah.
that's key.
Yeah.
And I think it probably instills other things in you, like discipline and, you know what I mean,
Yeah.
learning to push yourself further. And that's why I wished I would have done it more than just a knowledge to fight, but all the good parts of it.
It is an artwork too.
That's what
It
I
is.
think.
It is.
You know?
It's flowing. It's the moves are awesome. And you can, unlike certain martial arts,
Mhm.
like Taekwondo, you got like 90 moves you can learn, whatever. Jiu-Jitsu is infinite. There's always something.
So
There's
it's-
always something new.
Right.
It's-
Right, so you just don't have a set amount of moves.
Yeah.
It's a flow. It's a
It's a
continuation.
flow. You can be into your master belts and you'll still
Right.
learn something.
You guys shared something the other day. I think it was one of you guys about Gracie. I was watching this young little guy. I don't know how old he could have been 9 or 10.
Yes.
Oh, that guy looked amazing.
Yeah.
I mean, they showed 2 or 3 of his fights, you know what I mean, or his practices or whatever. And it's like, whoa, so, the guy's got some stuff going
Yeah.
on there.
Yeah. Yeah, he does. I know what you're talking about. I don't know his name. I just saw it on
Future champion, you
yeah,
know.
future champion for sure.
Yeah.
There's a really good interview with Chuck Norris. He's talking about his experience when he went to Brazil to film a movie. I forget which one. And he's talking about how he met the Gracies and his experience. Yeah, it's
No doubt.
Yeah, it's funny too. The ending's
Wow.
funny.
Well, that goes back a long ways here.
He met Helio Gracie, which was one of the founders of Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, and
Because
put him in a. He was talking. We put him in a rear naked choke, if I remember right, and next thing you know, he woke up. The Gracies were waking him up. And
no, he said he rolled with him as soon as he shook his hand. He did just remember waking up.
No doubt, no doubt. Yeah, that's just, oops, put my microphone. That is
Yeah,
pretty
that was a good
awesome.
bass hit right there.
Yeah, right. But so to me, it's exciting, and it's cool to see some of the people that are associated with Gracie who train,
Yeah.
not just in Las Vegas but elsewhere too. So I know that one of the guys you were telling me about is the guitar player Zoltan, right?
Yeah, Zoltan. He
No.
trains here locally, and
You know, Five Finger Death
yeah,
Punch.
really good
No.
Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu artist.
And so I think it can be anyone, male, female, child,
Exactly.
older person, middle age, whatever. And I think that, like you said, it's an art form to see
It
what
is.
they do. And the whole premise of this show, again, is clearly to touch upon artisans of all different genres. And I know that when you're not a little niche market and I say this wholeheartedly because this is a thing that podcasters go through a lot. If you have a specific kind of show, this is just what it is. I read a description the other day of a podcaster. It's just about dentistry, and they're all this different dentistry, you know, and that's awesome because it gives them, you know, others in their environment to reach out to, communicate with, grow upon, learn, listen. Same thing with trucking, right? You know, there's truckers that communicate, have their different shows about kind of trucks or shipping and whatever. So it's all something, but my show touches upon artisans of all genres. So it's difficult to, you really got to want to reach out and find the stories and pull that content and that value from people's inspiration and their motivation. And that's the whole point of Passion Driven, is that we're going to talk about all kinds of artisans. It started, of course, with our own artisan work. And then from here, I want to go to the ends of the damn earth and communicate with every kind of artist I could possibly find. So I'm really glad to have you guys on. And this is not a one and done show with these guys. You're going to see their ugly mugs quite a bit.
We'll be back.
Yeah, right?
Just don't stare into
We'll
his
be
eyes,
here.
he'll turn you to stone.
Get to the chop up.
Yeah. Get to the chopper.
I put the cookie down.
I bet not. You ate that bad.
All of them. I ate all of
I
them.
terminated the cookie.
I'll laugh too hard, I'll fall off my chair. So listen, everyone, we're going to take a quick break and we'll be right back with Bad Mojo Media. Thanks for watching. Daryl Bates from Bad Mojo Media, and we're back again. And as I had promised earlier, we got my buddy here, Jason Buchanan, owns an amazing business called The Jungle Zone, and just a great place. And I'd like him to explain kind of what his vision has been over the years and what's led him to get to this point, and what the future holds. And so that's the exciting part, is now that I know who you are and I've watched some of the things you're trying to bring into the business, I'm just super curious. What matters to me, I think, is the story, not just the destination. It's all the things you've been through from then till now. So go ahead, man. Give us some background story. Give us some history here.
We started in the mall in '91, and basically got out of there when, like everybody went through the recession.
Okay.
It was fierce,
It was wicked.
but some really good years in the mall, and it started they didn't even have a cart program. It was a flower cart that an elderly couple, a really nice elderly couple, had this flower cart in there.
So no shit. You got your start.
This is the way it went down.
And what year was this?
In '91.
91.
So now, over the years, right? We've worked with a lot of people, you know, and you've got some, you know, some wonderful people, and then you not so.
in any side of business,
big time
life, not just
so,
business, life.
Yeah.
Right?
So at any rate, the original partner I had at the time, Dave, he and another guy actually had taken this trip to Africa. No, I'm gonna try actually not to get too sideways on this one, but it's interesting to
Part
know.
of the story.
Yeah, and I would want it, you know,
Well, the Jungle Zone.
the whole damn thing actually, yeah, it's the reality was stranger than fiction. Seriously, it was.
Sometimes there are stories of how we get there.
Yeah, I was working at a local music store here in town before they had, you know, the corporate music stores and mom and pop.
Yep.
And it was the Mahoney's was the music store in town. I mean, they've been around for a long time, and it was a great place. I hardly ever got a paycheck, you know. Right,
Kids,
lived on a subway, you know,
Right, cigarettes
every couple of days, and I just spent all my money on gear because you get it, you know, it's your discount.
If I worked at a music store, that's what would happen to me. I'd be credit poor because it'd be.
Yeah, well, you know, and as a kid too, that was a great opportunity. A kid, I was probably, yeah, I was 16,
Yeah, that's a
17, you know. It was a cool little gig.
It's okay to do those things.
And thought, well, you know, I'm gonna work my way into bigger, better things through music. So
One day I'll be the fry chef. Right? I'll run the fry department one day.
I mean, you know, moving
No,
up,
it's
you know,
funny.
right? You know, right.
It was for that movie from Eddie Murphy.
Feel that ketchup.
Yeah, right.
Feel that mustard. So, right, the relish is out. So, the point is this: is that we were playing. Gary and I, we had a band, and the music store. It was a great hookup. But Gary had a family, and they moved to Texas, and so you broke up the band. He didn't break up. It's just, you know what I mean.
It just seemed like it at the time, I suppose. Right?
Well, yeah. I mean, just, you know, that's the way it goes. So, and we're still buddies to this day. We're close. It's cool. But the thing is, so now what, right? Well, I had a bike, an 86 Softail.
Nice bike.
It was a terrific bike, actually.
I think I've seen pictures of it.
Yeah, right.
Sweet bike.
So between that and the music gear, I could coast for a little while.
Right.
Figure out what was going on.
What was coming next? Right.
Yeah, and sell off
It
a
was
little
a
bits.
flower cart.
Right, sell off
Bunch
little
of
bits at a
rye.
time. And yeah, and I came into the mall and I saw
That's crazy.
David on down there on this this little cart, and I swear to God, he was wearing an African shamala. So, I mean, actually, you know, despite the way things had went down, I'm just going to try to hit the cliff notes on this one here. he was, you know, he was really bright,
Right,
innovative, you know, on
Right.
this one. But I just thought it was the strangest thing. The African shamala was, just, you know, how could I describe it? You know, The Office,
Yeah.
right? You know, Office Space, the movie.
Oh,
right?
yeah,
So the dark-haired guy, you know,
yeah, I know what you're talking
know
about.
the
Yeah,
actor's
yeah.
name. That's David's complexion, right?
Right,
You know,
right.
and it just looked odd. And he had the little, you know, the Coming to America, you know, the little hat, the
Right,
pillbox
right.
hat, you know?
Yep.
And it was a. And I knew him from
Interesting
school.
ensemble.
I knew him from school. It's a
Sure.
small town of 2.5 million people. So, I had to go down there and see what the heck was going on.
Right.
He had like little earrings and all
just
African, and it was, what was it called? It was called, I think it was called African Safari.
African safari.
You know,
That's
I
interesting.
believe that's what it was. Yeah. At any rate, seriously, and so the point is that regardless of that in itself, right, the story gets even crazier because when I go down and chat with him, I would later realize that he's a fucking opportunist. I don't really mind if, you know, I mean, it is what it is,
Yep,
you know.
yep.
Well, and he talked to this guy that he knew into spending this money to go to Africa to deliver. They had a television they were going to deliver to somebody that it was a friend of his he knew, and her family lived in Africa. And so she said, you can stay with my family out there. And they're like, yeah, this is a cool trip.
Let's go to Africa, man.
And you know, listen, right? So he and his friend, they went to Africa and spent a bunch. Dave's got that thing.
Go to Africa.
He could. Well, the point is, I mean, sell ice to Eskimos, you know.
Right.
So he talks. His buddy was an insurance agent too, into doing this, right? And I know, no doubt, they had a great time.
I'm sure of it.
When they came back, but during this trip, somehow the idea was, let's bring a bunch of this stuff back,
Right.
and sell it, you know, this kind of
Yeah.
thing.
In the mall at Christmas time. Hey, man. I mean,
Yeah,
Right.
that's not exactly the you know, the genius stroke on this one, but I mean, okay, so
Start.
but the product though, and the guy selling the product
that probably mattered a lot.
was
right?
was really, I mean, yeah, and anyway, they lost their ass on that. So seriously, his body was broke.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah.
I blew all the money.
So that did
He was
happen.
trying to sell these little earrings and crap like this. It's not
African
working.
Safari didn't go too far.
Yeah, and I told you
So
I was coasting for a while, right?
Right,
You know, so
right,
so and my buddy Wade and I had been down to Venice Beach.
Cool place to hang.
Yeah.
I spent money times there too. myself.
Well, yeah, it's a good time. Oh,
Some
shit.
of them I couldn't share.
We were so
They were
we were
great.
so yeah, that was a good time. It was a lot of fun. We rode down there on the bikes and it was so
That'd be
sunburned.
even more fun.
So sunburned.
Oh, I bet.
You know, right after state line, Wade's a cut up, man. It's just
Sun over the
fun-
water on the
fun.
ocean is always more intense.
Yeah, well,
You know.
My buddy Wade, you know, it's
On a bike too.
one of my best buds, you know, all through high school, thick and thin. Yeah, the sun over your ass, because he's the cut up that gets naked at the state line. And so I can't be, you know, I can't fucking not, you know, be hanging
Right,
with the, you know, the cool kids. So, I just thought that was the funniest shit. So we're cruising. You don't have to wear the helmet, of course, over state line.
Right, right.
I'm sorry this is going on a tangent, but I mean, this is...
Hey, that's what happens, man.
Right,
This is-
just
this is
tell,
part
this,
of the
this
story.
is all part of the story.
Yeah.
So we're just sunburnt lobster. My hair's a rat's nest, because, you know, and shit. I didn't, you know...
Right, right.
I thought that was so cool.
Right.
And,
It's a long way to ride. If you don't have
yeah.
your hair in something, it's
You know, it was
Yeah.
totally, it was
Now you've
Rasta.
got
It was
dreadlocks with a
Irie
knot.
Rastafari out
Right,
when we
right,
got there.
right.
It was, oh, boy.
Irie.
Oh my gosh. And anyway, we had a great time despite that when we were there. And I saw all these cats selling just, I mean, you know what I mean, they're hawking all their wares
Yep,
on the
yep.
on the towels.
Especially on Venice.
And you've seen it before,
Yeah, that's
but
all
you don't
it is at Venice
think
Beach.
about the,
It's
right?
just, a
Yeah.
smorgasbord of cool things that they sell up and down. You know, I love Venice Beach for that environment. I love the metal work and the cool things there. But anyway, go on.
No, you're right. And the Harry Carey guy that roller skates
Right.
around with his guitar, and right?
Oh, you mean, all right, so there's
Is
this.
it Harry Carey? This guy's name, not Harry
No,
Carey. That's
no,
the,
no.
hey guys, hot
Yeah.
dogs are great.
Hi, this was Harry. No, it's not him. It's
You like baseball?
he sings Rastafari music. He usually wears
The
very
turban.
little, and he's got a big freaking
Turban.
tons of hair and roller skates and a guitar, right?
I swear to God.
He's like a Rastafari guy, though. He's been down there forever.
No,
He's like a freaking old man now. He's been
and
doing that
he's
forever.
he's a genius.
years.
He's a genius.
I
He
bet.
speaks perfect. You know, he's a genius.
I've met him. I know
He's got a
exactly
great.
what you're talking
He's
about.
got a place. You know that.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
he's yeah.
He's part of the mindset of
It's
Venice
really
Beach at this point.
exactly.
No,
So
anyway,
sorry, I don't want to digress
Venice
too
Beach,
much.
finding your
You asked
groove.
for it, man. I'm just saying.
Oh.
Flew me in on the.
We've got 30 seconds. No, I'm
Yeah,
just kidding.
we'll be right back in 2 hours.
We got the time. That's what the show is all about, right?
Right. So
We're finding out how our artistic stories took our vision to
the beauty
reality.
of it, the beauty of it.
Right.
So
give us the,
all-
give us the skinny here, man.
So all of this, really, you know, skinny fats. So all of this stuff that they're hawking, they're selling, and I got, you know, I've been in sales and stuff for long enough to. This was actually kind of. I was thinking about this. I asked them where they get their, you know, the incense, and where do you get the sunglasses, where do you get your T-shirts, and where are you getting this? I just asked some of these guys hawking their stuff. They go to the trade show there. It's the LA Gift. So the LA Gift
Right.
trade show, international LA Gift.
All right, everyone, and we're back again. So we took a little break. Jason will be back again. We're going to complete our story on part 2 and see where he intends to take the Jungle Zone 2. And I know that he's going to be doing a lot of imports, where he's going to make some trips to Bali back and forth. I may even take a trip with him to Bali, who knows. In the meantime, we have finally Jill Plaxton coming behind this side of the camera, and so that she can actually talk with us and show us some of her amazingly skilled artwork. Everyone, Jill Plaxton, again, beautiful person and a tremendously good artist, so we're glad to have you here. Say hello.
Hello.
There she is. So this has been a long time coming for me. I wanted her on this side of the camera with me from the word go, but we don't have people floating around to film us half the time. but I think that'll change. So in the meantime, I'm glad you're here. And I just wanted to have a nice little conversation with some of the cool things that you're creating right now and where you intend to take all of this. So right now, I know we have some things we're going to look at too, but first I think I just want to hear a little bit about what you're bringing to all of us to see.
My creations are under my store name, which is Just Jill's Art. And it's just that. It is all my creations. It's nothing specific, not one particular kind of art. And I know we talked about this before, but right now I am focusing on some new stuff, some new ideas and products that I'm using for art pouring, and with your help, learning with the resin and the epoxy, which really gives it a great pop.
It does, doesn't it?
I think it's beautiful over top of these acrylic pours.
Oh, I
and
love it.
The metallic pours.
Oh.
So it's really a lot of experimenting right now. I've got quite a few great pieces. I have a
Nice
few
little studio you got set up.
kind of, yeah.
Yeah.
Not so good pieces, so.
But it's those practice pieces that make you better. I've already watched you pour over a couple of them,
Oh, yeah.
and now they're probably our favorite ones.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I've got a nice little setup in the garage right now, and it looks like a little tiny studio.
It does. You've got the lighting and backdrops and all your goodies. One of the things that interests me is that I like to see is that you're using different things that they're kind of my enemy in epoxy in a way, but yet learning to capture some of that and still use it in some capacity, like you use silicones.
Yes.
And a lot of that rejects with epoxy, but it's understanding how to put it together and use it still. In my medium, what I'm trying to achieve, honestly, is how to use some of that rejection to create the cool art pieces. That's exciting to me. And what I like to see with you is all your metallics and different silicones and pores and different ways that you're pulling and moving those pieces to create end results that are
Thank you. Thank you very much.
I look forward to going home and seeing what you've done.
It's fun.
It is.
And the other thing I'm experimenting with, because the silicone, because epoxy rejects silicone, or vice versa, they don't blend together, and they reject each other, is that because some of the pores have a lot of silicone in them. So I've come to realize that there's obviously some clear coats, a varnish, as an example, that can be coated clear over top of the final piece before the epoxy is poured.
See, this is new to me, and this catches my attention because I agree, most of the time my solution has been to pour more than once to overcome the rejection on the surface after we sand and clean, whether with alcohol or xylene or whatever. And then, I still have to pour more than once because it still will have pockets where it will reject and fisheye.
Oh, yeah.
But if you can varnish it and I can sand and pour on it, then it's very thin and it's a barrier to help pour
Correct.
successfully with your...
Because without it, I was noticing that I had to pour more epoxy, multiple layers, in order to get rid of divots.
I've
where
wasted
it's-
so much
yes.
epoxy. I've wasted
So-
hundreds of gallons of epoxy.
I'm still experimenting, so I'm sure there's other clear coats.
You're coming further and faster than I did on trying to understand it, but your grasp on paints and acrylics and all that, and you already had all that, and I really didn't.
Thank you.
So from here, as I'm seeing some of the pieces that you're making, I know that you're going to finish them off. You're going to have them for sale. Some you already do. So
Yeah.
let's hear a little bit about that, and then I'd like to ask a few things about the film end of what you're doing. And then let's show some pieces that you've done.
So would you like me to show right
I will, but not yet.
Okay, so.
How many questions did you just ask me at one time?
Yeah, exactly.
So right now, so as an example, you're going to be finishing some of these pieces. Where do you have them available to the public to consume?
Gotcha. I have them available. I'm working on my Etsy site as we speak. It's very minor in the making compared to other sites. I have on Facebook, the Just Jill's Art. I have on Instagram, Just Jill's Art. I have a website which is in the making as well. YouTube will be up in the near future. So I'm really trying to pull into all of the
All
platforms.
the platforms, and all of them at this moment including YouTube as well. And we already got the URL for Just Jill's Art.
Yes,
So
correct.
the website will be as well, Just Jill's Art. And same with YouTube. We've already got that began. It just isn't launched yet. But and you've been taking a lot of videos. I know, right? Video
Yeah.
capture is key. I mean,
Again, that's, it's easier to be on the other side of the camera, I feel, than it is in front of it, especially if you're taking video of yourself. So I have a lot less to use at this point, but I'll
you're
have more
also
later.
following a trend I see with other artisans, and that's where you're not really always showing yourself in the full capture, but your hands and your work environment as you're pouring.
Oh, yeah.
Is what I've noticed you do a lot of lately, and I see other artisans doing the same thing. So whether intentional or just circumstantial and convenient, I've watched you some cool stuff with the video. And I think that, you know, being on this side of the camera and the other side of the camera, you know, for me, right, it's key to understand how important the video capture is. The quality of the video capture, the length of it, how you can share it, and how that helps your image and your brand grow. So it's another valuable thing and valuable content to share with the public is how you brand yourself and ultimately getting it there. So very cool.
Awesome.
All right, well, we'll be looking forward to more of that. And Jill will be a normal staple on our show. She may not agree with me yet on that, but she will be. I just think it's awesome to have your perspective as an artisan on the show. I mean, that's just what it's all about. It's about different kinds of artists and their stories of how they're getting there and what they're doing to inspire all of us. Let's see a couple of your pieces, shall we?
Shall we? So this particular piece I'm showing is a custom made. It's going to be shipped out here soon.
That one's beautiful.
This particular piece is, the fact that it's custom made is just that it's a color scheme that the client wanted, and I put together, and it came out beautiful.
I love it as I look and I see the cellular movement up close is so much more intense. We'll get some better pictures when we wrap this segment up, but I love this. And this is on like MDF or a piece of wood, I'm not sure, but it's a
Yes.
solid heavy piece. It's also 3D with all the edge work around the outsides. It's just absolutely gorgeous. The
Thank
color
you.
scheme is really cool too.
And the thing I've come to find out about woods that I'm working with, it's nice because they're sturdy, but then again, in some of them, they tend to bow once they get wet.
But the thing that I've
So-
noticed about the bowing, as you were just mentioning, is mostly when they're glued together pieces.
Yes.
On a solid piece as MDF or even a solid piece of wood, they can warp, but I don't really see it as much as the pieces that we buy that are like round pieces and tables and smaller plaques to bigger ones. If they have a glue point, it does tend to warp more when you start putting all this stuff
Yeah.
on it.
So a lot of trial and error.
Well,
Which
this
is-
one warped pretty bad initially, this one here that I'm about ready to pick up.
Yep.
This is one of my personal favorites. And this is, again, you poured all acrylic, right, to begin with. And
Yes.
I know you have metallics and other things in here. I see glitter through here in certain areas. And this was a pour, right?
Correct.
And then from there, you worked it and sanded it and clear coated it multiple times with glossy epoxy. It's absolutely stunning. I'm tasked to make some legs for these nice tables. she's making. And that's good for me because it pushes my skill set and allows me to start doing some of the metal work that I'd like to do. And I don't envision these being wood. I envision it being classier with darker metals or something unique and sturdy. And that'll get me going. We'll finish these off nicely.
That's going to be a beautiful table.
Yeah. I like
I'm looking forward to it.
I want it.
Some of these, some of these, it's just hard to let them go.
Hard to part with?
Yeah.
Yeah, I know.
And
I've
then-
got a few pieces still hanging around that
Yeah.
have more value to me as sentimental learning experiences over the years than it would if somebody offered me money for it.
Exactly.
So.
Well, I've got one more piece up here. I'll just tilt up.
Oh, yeah. One of the things that I see Jill make so much of too is with the dog prints and the animal captures and animal creations, and this is so cool. This also is more than just what it seems because it has real, what is this? It's like a metal silver?
It's silver leafing.
So it's a silver leafing that you put in there, not just a metallic or a
No.
color.
It's silver leaf flakes.
So they're all silver leaf pressed chunks and flakes. and then buried. And this one did work. I mean, unfortunately, that one did work.
I got it
so
to straighten out a
it's
little
straightened a
bit,
lot.
so.
It'll be a perfect wall piece, but because of its warping,
Yeah.
you know. But this is part of the learning curve she was talking about in order to know how to finish these pieces so they don't warp. Just keep in mind too, as we unfold the show and wrap things up, any questions that you have, or if there's any artisans that we feature that you would be wondering, or had some input or feedback, even positive or you know, whatnot, share your thoughts and experiences with the show. We have a email that would directly, as well as on the Anchor podcast, you can actually click and send a message through Messenger or direct to my podcast platform. So I think that's something I'm going to start preaching a lot more about, is for people to communicate with the show and give us some positive and constructive feedback.
Yeah.
And see how also we could be better at what we do. So
And as artists, if you've been doing art for a long time or deep into it, you should be well used to constructive criticism. And if you're not, you really have to get used to it.
yeah, you're in the wrong industry.
Yes, exactly. So,
Starving artist is sometimes a truthful story, but right now we're on the cusp of some great things, and I'm excited to see what you're doing for yourself and your dream and your vision. Just Jill's Art's been something that you've talked about so long. I fully expect a time in the future, maybe a year from now, that you'll have your own studio for pieces that you have commissioned and you have completed, and you have a little gallery of
yeah.
items that you constantly have there for sale at
I
Just
love
Jill's.
that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm really proud of that. So,
I'm looking forward to furniture that I'm working on, and
oh, you do excellent.
and the
for your
videos. As far as the videos go
Yeah.
for YouTube, I'm looking forward to, once I get that up and rolling, doing a lot of lessons and teachings. I have a history of faux finishing, just galore. And I learned on site, I learned from other people, and I expanded just by seeking out the knowledge myself. And I
People
just
like
think it's
that.
neat
It's
to
powerful.
teach people these little tricks.
And little tips and
Yeah.
tricks and pro tips
Yeah.
that they'll carry with them. And this is something I share on my sister company's page, Excalibur Surfaces and Excalibur Artisans. And people admire and respect when you can share knowledge with them.
Mhm.
If they're receptive, if they're the kind of people that wish to be motivated and inspired, when they see others share their value of the years they spent learning something, that's powerful. It shouldn't always have a dollar amount behind it. It's not wrong to
No, no.
monetize a business, but it's absolutely not wrong to share valuable content and help people along the way.
Absolutely.
And then you're very good at that. You're very warm about that. So
Thank you.
you're welcome. So until next time, thank you everyone for watching an amazing show. Thanks for being part of this.
Thank you.
And I know you'll be part of it again on many more episodes coming in the future.
Uh-huh.
Be looking for next week. Now, next week, we have an amazing artisan on our show, and his name is Tiki J1, and he is,
Oh, yeah.
yeah, Tiki is amazing. He is a grand artist, if you will, in a different way with his graffiti, but he's taken it to a very advanced level, which a lot of graffiti artists are. It's not just him. I mean, there's a lot of them that are doing. It's becoming, in other words, it's becoming a popular medium. But he is the best that I've seen. He's native to Las Vegas here. He's an amazing artisan. And he teaches here in one of the colleges, which I'm really proud to hear. So he has a very stable future and a very growth-oriented future and a very busy, bustling, glammy city like
Yeah.
Las Vegas is. So he's in a perfect place. So next Tuesday, be looking for that one, and we'll have some more guests on our show. And again, thank you everyone for watching. And I hope that you are inspired, and I hope that you feel the same passion inside to become passion-driven. Thank you, everyone.
Awesome.
All right. So until next week.
Thank you, baby. Thank you. Thank you very much.
And we're winding down the show.